Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Viacom High School Game of the Week. I'm Craig Dees. This is my partner, Bob Isabella. And Bob, give us a quick rundown of the weather situation tonight. Not too bad out there.
Doesn't look like we're going to get any precipitation. It is going to get very cold. Field is in good shape, all except for where they had to resod a section right by the K, so we'll watch out for when they're driving in the middle of the field.
Tonight, very festive mood here at Kirtland. It is homecoming, the first homecoming we've covered this season. And for the home team, that can be good or it can be bad.
We've seen it work both ways over the past 5 seasons. Sometimes the kids get really up for the game and go out and literally perform over their heads. Other times it has just the opposite effect. They get a little tight and they make mistakes they ordinarily would not.
Offensively, for both of these teams, it's the difference between night and day. Let's talk about that.
Very much so. Kirtland, much bigger. They will run. Beechwood, of course, likes to light them up. And earlier you had the opportunity to talk to the Kirtland coach.
We're chatting with Coach Ray Feaster of Kirtland. And Coach, for the first time in many years, no one team stands out here in the East Suburban Conference.
That's true. We have a lot of teams that are 2-1. I believe 5 of us right now. It just seems that where one team is strong, another team is strong in a different area, and that's really evening it out a whole lot for the league.
This is a very festive weekend here at Kirtland. It's homecoming weekend, and what are the attitudes of the boys going in? Are they more excited about the dance tomorrow or the game at hand?
I really think our boys are ready. They've kept it in perspective, and we didn't have school today and had all of our ceremonies, pep assemblies and everything yesterday, and then tomorrow's the dance, so we sort of even that out, I think, a little bit. So we're ready for the game.
How do you feel you match up against Beechwood? Pretty well?
I think we're strong with the run. They're strong with the pass, both offensively and defensively, so I think we're going to match up pretty good.
Tell the folks at home some of the key players they should watch for, both offensively and defensively.
With our team, I think our quarterback's going to be a big one. Also, our line is very big, powerful. We have a nice tight end. We like to get the ball to when we can. We have fairly quick receivers on the outside, and our backfield, when they want to run, are very strong. Defensively, again, our offensive line, our linebackers are very, I feel, are very tough. They've been doing the job all year. Our secondary is young, getting better, and that'll be a challenge for these guys tonight in the backfield.
Okay, there you have it, folks. Thanks very much, Coach, and good luck tonight. Let's throw it across the field to my partner, Bob Isabella.
Thank you, Craig. I'm here with Coach Joe Perella of Beechwood. Coach, what kind of a work week did you have in preparing for the Hornets?
Hard one, very hard one. We have a lot to prepare for with them, and number one, they have some great size up front, and we're a tiny football team, and they do a lot of good things on offense. They mix it up, they'll run and they'll pass. So we worked hard this week.
Defensively, what do you feel your team has to do to stop Kirtland?
You know, them 5 big animals they got up front. We got to try to go around them somehow. But they're good offensive line, not to take anything away from the backs and quarterback. You know, they're all good, but they got a great big offensive line, and you know, we're outmanned maybe 20, 25 pounds per man up front, and I kind of fear that. You know, that wears you down, but you know, we'll hang in there.
Okay, now on the other side of the coin, what do you feel you have to do defensively to stop them?
Us defensively?
I'm sorry, you off? We got that already, didn't we? It's been a long day, folks. Offensively, what do you want to accomplish?
Throw the ball. I think they're too big up front for us to run the ball. So we're a finesse team. We've always been a finesse team because we always have been small. And we're going to have to throw the ball to beat them. That's how I feel right now.
Well, there you have it, folks. Beechwood going to try to light up this guy against Kirtland and burst their homecoming bubble. We'll be back right after this. You're looking at the Kirtland Hustling Hornets, everybody. They have just taken the kickoff. They will start at the 35-yard line. Craig, hop in.
Herbert Carnaccione is the quarterback. hands the ball to Craig Svensson around the left side. He breaks across the 40 up to the 42-yard line. So Kirtland on the first play from scrimmage picks up about 7 yards, and they'll have 2nd down and 3.
And we're here tonight, folks, at Walter Rogers Memorial Field, the home of not just the Kirtland Hornets, but the Hustlin' Hornets, right, Craig?
That is correct, Bob. That is correct. 2nd down, they'll call it 4 yards to go. Carnaccione is the quarterback. He's got Eric Quigley, number 89, and Craig Svensson, number 42, in the backfield. Svensson is the deep back, and he is only a freshman as they run out of the I. And that's who they give the ball to. Svensson once again got the first down, or very close to it. Tackle made by Anthony Jardine and Craig Simorani.
About 5 yards. Tackled by Craig.
There you see the Hornets' offensive backfield. Good set of backs. But as you've seen so far in the first 2 running plays, as Coach pointed out, Coach Perella of the Beechwood Bisons, what he really fears are those folks. Big men up front, they open some holes, as we have seen already.
Same men in the backfield. Lou Godfrey's a slot to the left. 1st down and 10. They hand the ball to Quigley, and he barrels ahead for about 2 yards. Wrapped up by number 56, John Gross. The Hornet offensive backfield, the quarterback is Irby Carnaccione, as we said. He's a junior. Eric Quigley is a starting fullback. He is a junior also, as we look at the Bison defense.
2nd down 8.
As Coach Perella alluded to, they are outweighed by a bit, so they're going to have to do some stunts, slants, mix it up a little bit, and keep the Hornets off balance, or try to.
2nd down and 8. Carnaccione to throw it up for the first time all day. He's got a man, that's Ted Grambo on the left side. He's to the 40 and down to the 36-yard line. That's good for another Hornet first down. And so far, so good if you're a Hornet fan.
Ted Grambo on the receiving end of a Carnaccione pass.
As I started to talk about earlier, Bob, the fact that there's a very young Hornet offensive backfield. Carnaccione the junior, Quigley the junior, and Svensson is only a freshman. The man who just caught that last pass, Ted Grambo, is also a junior. So you have a lot of younger people in the specialty positions. As we see Lou Godfrey at the bottom of your screen, and Grambo is at the top. Quigley the up man in the I, Svensson the deep man. And they hand the ball to Svensson. He's to the 35, dances around, flag down inside the 30 to the 29. We'll have to put on the brakes here and see what that flag was. Tackled by number 45, Craig Simorani.
Thrown in the area where we clip. I was going to say either a hold or a clip.
And the first flag of the day, and that's going to cost the Hornets a ton of yardage, as it is a clipping call. Nice night here this evening, about 52 degrees here at game time.
And if it only holds.
And the way the weather started out this morning, you would have thought that we'd be playing in the monsoon season, but this field, excellent drainage except for the center of the field. You can see the different color on the screen right there where the field was resodded. The Hornets will have the ball, 1st down and 20 yards to go all the way. This is homecoming weekend here in Kirtland. Perry Dakwar is the man at the bottom of your screen. Ted Grambo at the top. Carnaccione goes back to throw. He's got a man, and it is almost intercepted. Kevin Stoner stepped in front of the intended receiver, Eric Quigley, and almost picked that ball off. Also, Anthony Jardine was also on the coverage. So the Hornets have it, 2nd down and 20.
Trying to get not all of it, but a good chunk of it back on that play, which is a good idea. What was not necessarily a good idea, and that's where the underclass inexperience shows, was he did force that ball a little bit. He had 2 defenders right on top of his man. I like those Beechwood sort of Penn State uniforms.
Very plain, but they bring a certain message across when you see the black and the white.
Stark.
Godfrey is a slot on the right. Carnaccione rolls to the right. Gets some nice blocking out ahead. He's got a receiver, and that is Grambo, and they say, yes, it was a good completion. And that'll be good for a pickup of about 7 yards. So when the Hornets get the ball back, or when they resume play, it'll be 3rd down and about 13 to go.
3rd down, 14.
All you have, excuse me, Bob.
Watch this. This was a super catch. He was right on the sideline.
The 39-yard line of the
You see him disappear into the crowd there. He got 1 foot down. That was very nicely done.
And that's all you have to do here in high school ball. Grambo to the top of your screen, Perry Dakwar to the bottom of your screen. Third down and 14. Carnaccio on the deep dropping the screen pass, and nobody there. That is the part of the field where the footing is real bad. It was hard to say if Svensson could get his footing coming out of the backfield or not. So for the first time tonight, we have a 4th down, and it appears to be the punting unit for the Hornets.
Well, the Beechwood defense stiffened when they had to. Boy, that was a nice play Kirtland had set up. They just could not complete the pass. He had room to go and blockers in front of him.
8 minutes, 52 seconds to go here in the first quarter. 0-0 is the score. As Greg Bedrick, number 15 in punt formation. Anthony Jardine is the deep back, as well as number 80, Rob Kimmelman. The snap is good. That's a tricky part of the field, and Bedrick gets off an end-over-end kick. The Beechwood is going to let bounce, and it is into the end zone for a touchback, so Beechwood will take over. First down and 10 on their own 20. See if they can get something started here early in the first quarter.
And as Coach Perella said to us, there you see him before the game, they figure to light it up. They like to throw. I think, quite frankly, they will throw from any part of the field tonight.
And talking about a young offensive backfield, the quarterback for Beechwood is Greg Eisenberg, and he's only a sophomore. Pruitt Petty is the halfback, number 1. He's a junior. And Anthony Jardine is a junior. He's the fullback, number 44. As we see them come out in a T, the man at the bottom of your screen is number 2, Steve Reed. And they hand the ball to Petty around the right side. Picks up a good chunk of yardage, possibly 7 yards on the play. So Beechwood will have a 2nd down and 3.
There is the offensive backfield. Eisenberg, Petty, Jardine, and Silas. He is number 31. They had a last-minute change there. And there's the fellas up front who do the dirty work and will have to contend with a cantankerous Hornet defense. There's a lot of syllables in that one.
Eric Quigley was the man who made the stop for the Hornets. 2nd down, a long 3 or a short 4, if you will. Take your pick. They run out of the eye. The man at the bottom of your screen is Steve Reed. And they hand the ball to Jardine. And he gets around the left side to the 35, trips and falls forward to about the 41-yard line. He lost his footing at about the 35, but was able to keep himself going. Svensson, Ben Davis, and Kevin Sopko on the tackle for the Hornets, and that is a 1st down and 10 for the Bisons.
1st down, Bison.
Mr. Jardine, interestingly enough, an offensive specialist. You saw that speed, but his idols are Chris Spielman and Lawrence Taylor. Those are defensive guys. Big guys. Like to hit.
Good company. There's the Hornet defense on your screen as they started this evening's ball game.
And, of course, they start out with 2 runs. We're talking about the pass, and they come up with 2 runs.
They hand the ball to Petty around the right side. He breaks a tackle. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, and he's dropped at the Hornet 48-yard line. Once again, good enough for another Beechwood 1st down. Bruce Myers and Craig Svensson on the tackle for the Hornets, but as we said, another 1st down for Beechwood.
Pruitt Petty looking very much like his nickname, Choo Choo, as he scooted along. There's a young man who knows where it's at. His heroes are Marcus Allen, you might expect that, and Martin Luther King Jr.
1st down and 10. The ball spotted on the Hornet 48-yard line. Eisenberg looking over the situation. That's Roland Silas in motion. And they hand the ball to Jardine, and he picks up a couple of yards.
Jardine on the carry. Gain of about a yard, brought down by a swarm of Hornets.
See number 72, Greg Dion, as well as number 71, Joe Gerges for the Hornets on the tackle. Give them 2 yards on the play. 2nd down and 8.
4 straight running plays.
Making you look real good, Bob.
Hey, look, wow. Hey, folks saw Coach Perella say he was going to pass. He was obviously doing some misdirection there. He figured everybody would see the interview. No, that's no good. We're on a tape delay. Okay, well, he was just lying to us. What can I tell you?
6 minutes, 28 seconds to go in the first quarter. Once again, Beechwood out of the eye. And for the first throw of the day by Eisenberg, as he is chased and he is swarmed under and he is sacked back at the 45-yard line. He just kept buying himself a little more time, and he finally ran out of time. Brett Jones, Joe Gerges, Greg Bedrick, Greg Dion all on the tackle as we watch it again.
Nowhere to go, surrounded by Hornets.
And you see there a good example of good downfield coverage by the Hornets, and that's one thing that they had to really worry about all week when they came in was that passing attack, and the first time they decided to put the ball up, the coverage was there. 3rd down and 18 to go. First 3rd down of the evening for Beechwood. As Eisenberg goes back to throw, they're going to screen pass to Silas, and it's incomplete. Kevin Sopko
4th down, 18 yards.
letting Roland Silas know that he was in the area as the ball fell short. 4th down and 18, and now it's Beechwood's turn to kick the ball back to Kirtland.
If you notice, Craig, that was a very smart play by Silas. He saw that the Kirtland defense had completely read that play. He had nothing but trouble ahead of him, and he made really no effort to catch that ball as there was no hornet around it, so he let it fall harmlessly to the ground.
Rondell Lewis is in to punt the ball away. Craig Svensson, the freshman, is back deep for the Hornets, and Lewis pops one straight up in the air, and it will be rolling out of bounds at the Hornet 37, possibly the 38-yard line. So Kirtland, for the second time this evening, has the ball in good field position, and they'll take the ball over, 1st and 10.
See that spot up there? That's where we are, folks, way up high. There's the band. Of course, we'll be seeing them at halftime. God willing and the creek don't rise. You folks have no idea what goes into getting these shows on the air and brought to you. Our crew doing yeoman work already tonight.
Ted Garambo is the receiver at the bottom of your screen. Godfrey is a slot on the right-hand side. They hand the ball to Svensson around the left side. He's to the 40, up ahead to about the 42-yard line, so he picks up 4 yards.
Svensson on the carry.
Tom Javich on the tackle for Beechwood. So Kirtland has it 2nd down and 4, and another good 1st down play, Bob.
Well, you pick up 4, 5, 6 yards of crack on 1st down. You give yourself all kinds of options on 2nd. Beechwood Bison defense will have to tighten up.
Under 5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. So we said it's a chilly night here, but it could be a lot worse, folks. It's down to about 52 degrees. That's the Carnaccione keeping it, flips it back to Svensson, drops the ball, picks it back up. They do not touch him down, and he leans back forward to the line of scrimmage. So there was a case right there of keeping the legs going till you hear the whistle.
Loss of about a yard.
That was interesting. The Bisons kind of gave up. I think they assumed he had been touched while he was down. Watch it. No, see, his knee never touches. He goes for another 2.5 yards.
Anthony Jardine making a nice play there. 3rd down and 7 yards to go.
Facing their 2nd 3rd down situation.
Grambo at the bottom of your screen. Carnaccione rolls to his left, plants and fires a bullet intended for Greg Bedrick. That's incomplete. Number 37, Ari Seaman on the coverage for Beechwood. So 4th down once again for the Hornets, and they will kick the ball back to Beechwood. And as Coach Feaster mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the fact that every team in this East Suburban Conference has at least one loss already. There's not one dominant team, and so you have to play for breaks, and it could be here the first team that gets a break could be the one that comes out on top.
And that's what makes football interesting, when you've got even conferences and you've got everybody scrapping out for it.
Greg Bedrick, number 15, is into punt. Number 80, Rob Kimmelman, and number 44, Anthony Jardine. And Bedrick has a hard time, but he gets the punt off somehow, taken by Kimmelman at the 40 to the 45, and he's dropped at the 45. Nice play by number 62 of the Hornets, Bob Braud. And what could have been disaster turns out to be not too bad, as Beechwood takes the ball over 1st down and 10 on the 45, an excellent field position for them.
Now you folks just saw a terrific athletic feat there. I don't know how he managed to finally get a hold of that ball, which one seemed to be stuck with pig grease or something, and then managed to get the punt off.
3 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Silas in motion. They hand the ball to Jardine. He's got a lot of room on the left side. He's to the 50. He's to the 45, and he's stuck and dropped down at the Hornet 43, but a nice pickup. Ben Davis and Bruce Myers on the tackle for the Hornets.
Tackled by Myers and Davis.
Watch the replay here. The key to that was Silas coming in motion. He was right at the point of attack, as you see him coming right into your living room, and absolutely wiped out a corner man.
The way the field is, make sure he cleans his shoes before he comes in the living room. 3 minutes, 10 seconds to go here in the opening period, or quarter, or whatever.
Period's good, quarter's good, either one.
Kimmelman is at the top of your screen. Steve Reed at the bottom. As we have a pass, and it is complete to Kimmelman. He's to the 15, he's to the 10, to the 5, and he does not get in. Dragged out of bounds at the 1-yard line by number 89, Eric Quigley. Eisenberg put that one right on the button, and Beechwood is knocking at the door. First down and 10 from the 1.
Was that gorgeous? The Hornets had a blitz coming from the offside. Watch it. They pick it up, but Eisenberg just zips it out there, and it is absolutely right on the money.
And I'd like anybody to explain to me how you can have the ball first down and 10 from the 1.
Well,
first and goal on the Kirtland 1-yard line.
How about first and goal?
That was the thing that Coach Feaster feared the most, and that is the first break, if you will, of the ball game as they run out of the eye and they give it to the big fullback. Jardine breaks a tackle. He's into the end zone for a touchdown.
Jardine in for the touchdown.
That was the only 3-play drive we've seen all year like that. A run for a first down, a pass for a first down, and a run for 1 yard. Amazing.
Jardine got hit behind the line of scrimmage by 16 Brett Jones and just barrels into the end zone, almost uncontested. Didn't get hit again until he was about 2 yards deep.
And he made sure, as you could see on the replay there, that he hit back.
The quarterback, Greg Eisenberg, will be in to attempt the extra point with 2:48 to go. And we have flags on the play. We may have somebody lining up in the neutral zone. Could be delay of game.
You know, Craig,
Kirtland has lined up in the neutral zone for encroachment. Go ahead, Bob.
You and I were talking before the game about you've got 2 small schools here, 300 and 450, I believe. And yet what you've got is an absolutely classic matchup of size versus speed. That's what we're going to see tonight.
I think what makes it all the more fun to watch is just the fact that when you have like competition, if one of these teams is playing a Mentor or Euclid, then, you know, we'd be in trouble. But 2 teams with about the same ability, as you see the extra point go wide to the left. So Beechwood has a 6-0 lead. Getting back to your point, Bob, you said Kirtland 300 kids in the school, Beechwood 450. I think Euclid or Mentor probably has more in the senior class, or very close, than these 2 schools put together. But you're going to see an interesting brand of football tonight.
Will the drivers get your cars and bring them to the track?
A lot of Hornets. There are Hornets all over the place here tonight. Thank God they're not real ones. I have trouble with those little buggers.
Rondell Lewis will be the man who will kick off for the Bisons. Perry Dakwar, Bruce Myers,
report to the cars at the end of the first quarter.
And Lou Godfrey will go back deep for the Hornets. 2 minutes, 48 seconds to go. Beechwood has just jumped out on top 6-0. A 1-yard run by Anthony Jardine, set up by an outstanding completion. And here's Lewis's kickoff. It's a good kickoff taken by Myers at about this 13-yard line. He's to the 30, scoots through and gets dropped at about the 34-yard line. So for the 3rd time now, the Hornets have excellent field position.
34-yard line.
Well, I was going to say, you could throw a blanket over that. 35, 37, 34 is where they've started their 3 drives.
Number 32, Clark Chaston, was the man who made the tackle there. Hornets have the ball, first down and 10, 34-yard line, 2:33 and counting here in the first quarter. Carnacion back to pass. He's got Lou Godfrey, almost intercepted, but Godfrey hangs onto the ball. He is to the 40. He's to the 30. It's a foot race to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown. And what an amazing play. The old tip drill working in reverse as the offense scores from 66 yards out. And guess what? We are tied at 6.
Well, how do you like that, folks? 66 yards, absolutely stunning play. That goes in the highlights tape. And as you alluded to, Craig, watch this. I did not catch his number. You'll see it here. He's got it absolutely dead to rights, number 44, but he misses it, tips it, and 66 yards later, it's scored. That was Jardine.
The old tip drill working in reverse. You practice that as a defensive back when it squirts through the hands of the receiver into your hands.
And tremendous alertness there to pick that ball up in midair after it had been tipped, and then have the presence of mind to turn upfield and turn on the jets.
And for a team that's not supposed to have a lot of speed, we saw some speed there as he outran about 4 defensive backs. The quarterback, Carnacion, in to attempt the extra point that could put the Hornets ahead. The snap is good. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So, 30 seconds after Beechwood took the 6-0 lead, the Hornets go back on top 7-6. And as we said, this is going to be interesting, folks. This is a different brand of football, but football is football, and so far, a lot of action.
And as you alluded to, it's the competitiveness, it's the evenness with which the teams are matched that makes for an interesting matchup.
Number 87, Lou Godfrey, in the little bio sheet that he handed us, has the nickname of Sweet Lou, and I don't think anybody would argue that point at this time. And he'd like to become a gourmet chef.
That's gourmet, Craig, gourmet. Well, I'll tell you, they liked what he cooked up on that one. Sorry for the pun, but that was beautiful. And as you said, clearly, you know, Beechwood as a team has an edge in speed, but boy, did he turn on the jets on that one.
Number 34, Ken McCory, is the man to set the kick off. Pruitt Petty and Anthony Jardine are back deep. 2:10 to go.
Petty and Jardine back to receive the kick.
Here in the first quarter, 7-6 Kirtland leads. It will be taken by Petty right at the 20-yard line. He's got a wall of blockers ahead of him. He scoots through to the 35, and he is dragged down from behind by number 42, Craig Svensson, at about the 39-yard line. We've seen a lot of good field position. And again, Beechwood has the ball in excellent position at the 38-yard line is where they spot it.
Well, let's see if we can keep this going. I do not recall us ever having 2 consecutive plays from scrimmage resulting in TDs. Let's see if Beechwood can make it 3. That would be interesting.
You never know, huh? Kimmelman is the man at the top of your screen. Reed, the man at the bottom. They're out of the tee. The slot is Roland Silas, and he goes in motion. And they're going to put the ball up in the air. Is Eisenberg. He throws, and he's got a man. That's Jardine. He cuts back and is swarmed under and dragged down at the 48-yard line. From here, it looks as though he's about a yard short of the first down, but Beechwood coming out throwing. And Ben Davis was the man on the tackle for the Hornets.
Gain of 9, second down 1. Bison.
Eisenberg showed tremendous coolness in the pocket that time because it was collapsing around him, but he waited until his man broke free and then zipped it in there.
As you recall, last year, Beechwood had an outstanding quarterback in Jeff Oliver, and talking to Coach Feaster this week, he made the analogy of this is a young Oliver, and that is a heck of a compliment. They hand the ball to Jardine around the left side. He's got the first down. He's across the 50 to the 45 and dragged down from behind. Craig Svensson on the tackle. That'll be good for another Beechwood first down, and it's been offense, offense, offense for the entire first quarter. 49 seconds to go.
Watch this from ground level. I don't know if you'll see the block. No, it was out of camera range. It was number 2, Steve Reed, made a tremendous downfield block, which got them another 6 or 8 yards.
.40 seconds to go and counting here in the first quarter, and what an eventful first quarter thus far. Silas is once again in the slot and now in motion, and they hand the ball to Petty, and he picks up about a yard or so.
Petty on the carry for the Bison.
Joe Gerges on the tackle for the Hornets.
Short gain of about a yard.
Second down and 9. That's probably the last play of the first quarter, as time is now down to 10 seconds here.
And it doesn't look like Beechwood is in any hurry to get this off. No, this will be the last play of the quarter. We're down to 5.
So an exciting first quarter, a lot of offense, a couple of big plays, and we stand at 7-6, the hometown Kirtland Hornets leading on homecoming night. But the way this is going, maybe the person who or the team who hangs onto the ball at the final gun, maybe the team that wins the game. So we are played one quarter right here. The score, the Kirtland Hornets 7 and the Beechwood Bison 6.
My mother, she drinks a lot, and it got me addicted.
Drinking and taking me so far down, I had to get out of my house.
It made me do things that I never thought I'd do.
If I take one drink, I'm gonna take another and another because I can't control myself, and I'll die.
Hey, yo, alcohol is a drug, and you can get hooked on it. And the younger you start, the more damage you can do. Word.
I'm cool in my way, not by drinking.
But now I can see going to college.
Say no and say yes to your life.
There it is, folks. You saw 7-6. You see, go blue. Michigan's here. What is this? The Bisons have it 2nd and 9 at the Kirtland 41-yard line.
Greg Eisenberg, the quarterback, he goes back to throw on 2nd and 9, finds a man across the middle. That is Kimmelman. And he's stuck there by Craig Svensson at about the 34-yard line. So they'll be about 2 yards short, 3rd down and 2, and already this could be an important 2 yards to pick up.
2nd down and 2, 3rd down and 2.
Very key, and so far we didn't have that many. We only had 3 third down situations in the first quarter, but so far neither team has converted any of them.
I hate to belabor the point at this time, but as you see the name Svensson being mentioned time and time again, the man is a freshman. Starts both ways, offensively and defensively, and he has put some nasty hits on some people. They go to the big fullback, Jardine, and he looks as though he's picked up the 1st down as he drags a couple of people with him.
Tackled by Bob.
That was a good effort by him, Craig, because there was good penetration.
Excuse me, Bob. Brett Jones on the tackle.
I said there was good penetration by the Kirtland defensive line, and yet he managed to squirt through.
No gain. 3rd down, 2. Timeout. Official timeout.
And we're going to have a measurement here.
Now they're saying no gain, but I don't think that is the case.
For where the ball is spotted right now, I would venture to say.
Come on, quick.
Half a yard short.
Half a yard?
Half a yard. Let's see how close the eyes of D's are.
Oops, hold up.
Oh!
There was a gain, 2 yards. 1st down, Beechwood.
Well,
that was the first time you were off all season.
Like I said, I thought they picked it up by a couple of inches.
Yeah. Run that tape back, Mr. Director, please.
11:14 to go here in the first half.
Car, please report to Mr. Young immediately. Thank you.
1st down and 10 for the Bison. The ball at the 33-yard line.
Down by the gate.
And the offense said, wait a minute, where are you moving the ball here?
It's nothing worse than going up to the line of scrimmage and there's no ball.
No ball. Makes it difficult.
Silas once again is the man in the slot. Jardine, the upback, number 44. Silas in motion. And whistles are blown, and we may have a delay.
Flag on the play.
Pruitt Petty is also the man. He is the man who got the ball flipped back to him. And we see an illegal procedure call. So all of a sudden we have 1st down and 15 for Beechwood, and that's not the way you want to be marching.
Absolutely, especially when you just made a big 1st down by a couple of inches, right, Craig? As you folks heard, Craig Dees call it after the fact.
You know, the whole time I've been right all season. No, not a pat on the back. And as soon as you blow one.
Absolutely. What have you done for me lately? Come on, this is a tough business, buddy. You know that.
I understand.
Okay, now they've got the ball this time. They know where the ball is, so this will make it easier.
1st down and 15. Kimmelman is the man at the bottom of your screen. Eisenberg rolls back, and he is nailed as he lets the ball go and is incomplete. Intended for number 1, Pruitt Petty. And I got to tell you, Greg Bedrick put a hit on Greg Eisenberg, and Mr. Eisenberg will remember that for a few minutes here.
Watch
as
it.
He got his bell rung.
There was some pretty tough contact on both ends of that play, no?
Eisenberg being 5'8", 160, Bedrick being 6'4" and 205. So who got the better of that deal? 10:38 to go here in the first half. The Bisons out of the T formation. Silas is again the slot.
Calling an audible.
Eisenberg back to throw. He's got a man, and he throws it behind the intended receiver, Steve Reed. Make it 3rd down and 15.
See, folks, that was an absolutely classic case of there was an audible call, and the wide receiver didn't hear it. He thought he was supposed to go on some sort of an up pattern or fly pattern. And what Eisenberg obviously had audibleized to was some sort of down and out pattern.
Please do so immediately.
3rd down, 15 yards to go. Beechwood has the ball on the Kirtland 37-yard line. Kimmelman at the bottom of your screen. Reed at the top.
A blitz.
Eisenberg throws. And that's up in the air, and it is intercepted and dropped. Perry Dakwar on the coverage for the Hornet.
Almost intercepted by Perry Dakwar, incomplete.
That ball was intended
from the Kirtland 37.5-yard line.
For, I believe, Roland Silas, and he made a nice defensive effort coming back and helping out.
Yeah, ground level. You see, he absolutely turned into the defender there and just peeled the ball right out of his hands, or else we would have had our first turnover.
Myers and Svensson back deep for the Hornets as Rondell Lewis is in to kick. And the snap is a good one. That's a tricky part of the field, and Lewis line drives one and is picked up by Svensson inside the 10 at the 9. He goes right side. He's got a little bit of room. He breaks it back to the 20, and he will be hit and dropped at the 21-yard line.
Lewis's punt, fielded by Svensson. Brings the ball
Marty
back to
Chagrin on the tackle for Beechwood.
22-yard line, first down, 10.
So Kirtland has the ball first down and 10 on their own 22-yard line, 10:15 to go.
We've been talking about Craig Svensson. Not a bad athletic idol. Walter Payton, the guy who can run with the ball.
And Myers and Svensson are the men in the backfield. Ted Grambo at the top part of your screen. And we see Lou Godfrey go in motion. And we got a busted play. Carnaccione hangs on to it, but he may pick up a few yards as he dips and dives up ahead to about the 26-27, so he turned a busted play into about 3 yards. Kevin Stoner on the tackle for the Bison.
Watch the replay here. It was indeed. Whoops, I'm supposed to hand it off. There's nobody home. Good play to get 3 or 4 yards out of that. They give him 4, 2nd and 6.
9:27 to go. Carnaccione hands the ball to Svensson, cuts back in the middle and doesn't pick up much, maybe a yard or so. Mike Dolovec on the tackle, as well as Matt Stream, number 77. 3rd down and 5. They'll give him a gain of 1. Now you see the Hornet coaching staff giving up their booth so we could be inside and sitting out in the elements.
God love them.
$8:30 to go here in the first half. Carnaccione back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, gets hit as he lets it go, but it's complete to Eric Quigley. And no gain on the play. Kevin Stoner, Anthony Jardine both on the tackle for the Bison, so the Bison defense stiffens, and Kirtland will have to punt the ball away.
You know, at this point, you would have to say where Kirtland's where Beechwood's quickness is showing up the most, Craig, is on defense. They are real. Their line is really managing to get around that larger Kirtland offensive line and put some pressure on.
Jardine and Kimmelman back deep to receive the Greg Bedrick punt. Last time he had all kinds of trouble hanging on to the ball. This time he does not. He gets off an end-over-end kick that bounces at the 48 and dies in that muck at the center of the field.
Boy, did it ever. Did you see that? Buried itself.
So Beechwood has the ball on their own 49-yard line, 1st down and 10, and excellent field position once again.
Now remember, we talked earlier about that resodded portion of the field, and that's exactly where they're going to be starting from. That would not be the place I would choose to run any plays inside the tackles. Guys are going to have a tough time getting footing.
Steve Reed at the top of your screen. Kimmelman at the bottom of your screen. Scott Perry is a slot to the left as they pitch the ball to Jardine around the left side, and he cuts it back and he picks up about 4 or 5 yards on a nice run as he shredded some tacklers going up through the middle of the Hornet line.
He is a good-looking ball carrier. That didn't look like much of a hole, and he slashed through it.
4.5. 3rd down.
Run to daylight, Vince Lombardi used to say. That's what all the great ones do.
Call it 2nd down and 5 yards to go. 6:53 remains here in the first half. The deep back is Pruitt Petty. Anthony Jardine is the up back. And they run a delay to Petty, and he is dragged down from behind. Greg Bedrick, one of the Kirtland ends, makes a nice defensive effort. And there's a loss of 2 yards on the play, so we'll have 3rd down and 8 yards. Where they spot the ball now, it looks more like 3rd down and 7.
Now, Mr. Bedrick, who plays tight end and defensive end, guess who his two idols are? Howie Long, there's the defensive end, and Mark Bavaro. Not a bad tight end.
3rd down and 7. 6:09 to go here in the first half. And in that sloppy part of the field, we'll have to see what the footing is like. Eisenberg rolls out of that part of the field, being chased by Bedrick. He's to the 40 and out of bounds, close to a first down. It's really going to depend on where they spot that football. He is very, very close.
Out by Ben Davis.
We may have another measurement, and if they do, they'll have to bring the chains all the way over from the other side of the field. And that's what they're going to do as we see the official timeout.
Watch the replay. He rolls out. Now watch here it is, the Bernie Kosar imitation. As our inimitable director, Kerry Polachek, pointed out to me, you notice how as he got to the end, the slipperiest part of this field is right there at the sideline just after you get off the grass, and you saw him skating a little bit as he went out of bounds. The chain gang's got to work hard on this guy, you know.
There's a good shot of the football, and we'll see. I'm not going to make any guesses on this one.
You missed one, and now you're going to give up. Okay.
And Beechwood has another first down. So the drive continues for the Bison. 5:56 to go. Is it Bison or Bisons?
Bison.
There's an English
Bisons. Absolutely. It's more than one bison. Which could be bisi. Never mind. Or bice in Latin, I think.
Just checking. Just checking. Want to be grammatically correct.
That's their 7th first down, Craig. Kirtland has only 2, but they're ahead in the one statistic that counts, points.
Eisenberg back to throw. Zips it across the middle, in and out of the hands of number 2, Steve Reed. I'll tell you what, Eisenberg showing what kind of a cannon for an Army at as he zipped that ball in there. And on a cold night like tonight, good luck catching it.
You know, Joe Perella has really been blessed, if you will. He had Oliver, who was an outstanding quarterback for 4 years, started as a freshman. We saw him. That was one of the very first games we ever did on Viacom Cablevision Sports, you folks may remember. And now he's got Eisenberg, who is no slouch. That young man has a heck of an arm, as you just saw.
Silas is back in slot left as Eisenberg sets in that slop, and he will be sacked right at the 50-yard line. Number 67, Richie Greaves, on the sack for the Hornets, and that really puts Beechwood in a hole here with 5:37 and counting here in the first half.
That is the 2nd sack of the night. Kirtland's had a number of hurries as you watch it here, and Eisenberg did a heck of a job. Watch right at the end of the play. Here comes Bedrick. Here comes the middle of the line. As you see him pull the ball in, he did a heck of a play to keep his hands on that ball.
Rich Greaves, 6 foot tall, 220 pounds, falling on top of the 160-pound Eisenberg.
A little overmatch there.
But those quarterbacks are tough, Bob. He's back up on his feet, leading that team back down the field. 3rd down, 17. Puts it up on the sideline, and it is intended for Kimmelman, throwing a little behind him.
Eisenberg's pass.
Lou Godfrey was on the coverage for the Hornets, did not ever see the ball. All the way up here, we can hear his teammates on the sideline saying, look, look, as we watch it again. He does not see the ball until the very last minute. And it will be 4th down and 17. And Rondell Lewis is in to kick once again. Svensson and Myers back deep again for the Hornets.
And did you notice that down on handheld, Steve Heister almost gathered that ball in. He was about to drop the camera. Ooh.
And there's another low wobbly kick, and is called for a fair catch by number 82, Ted Grambo, as he kneels down at the 25-yard line. So the Hornets have the ball back. 4 minutes, 57 seconds to go here in the first half. And this thing is flying by.
Moving right along. Well, for a couple of reasons. We've seen a lot more runs than we thought we would see. They have not been working the sidelines very much. Very few penalties, so there's just been very little stoppage of play. And after those 2 quick lightning strikes, literally consecutive plays from scrimmage, it's kind of settled into a war of attrition in the middle of the field.
Godfrey is a man at the top of your screen. And they hand the ball to Svensson, and he breaks a tackle, and he's up past the 30-yard line. Picked up about 4 yards or so. The new man in the backfield after the tackle made by Craig Cimarroni and Tom Javich. The new man in the backfield is number 16, Brett Jones. He looked as though he would be a starter early in the year, and he came up with an ankle injury. And he plays defense, and coach said he's very close to being 100%, but we weren't sure how much we'd see him in the backfield. That's the first play, and he remains in the game to be the fullback, so they may be looking for some blocking help.
And so far, the Bison defensive line has done a terrific job up front.
2nd and 7. They hand the ball to Jones. He's to the 35. He's outside of the 40 to the 45. And knocked down at the Beechwood 45-yard line, so much for blocking. Kevin Stoner grabs him around the ankles, as well as Todd Block, number 29, and the Hornets have another big play and the ball, 1st down and 10, right on the 45.
As you see the replay here, nothing fancy. That was just a play right off the guard, but terrific line surge by Kirtland. No trickery or trapping or misdirection there. That was simply the offensive line blowing them out. And that's, of course, because I just complimented Beechwood's defense. It's unbelievable how they can hear us.
4 minutes, 8 seconds to go. Hornets have the ball, 1st down and 10.
Little equipment check there by the official.
And that run by Brett Jones prompts Eric Quigley off the bench for the Hornets as Jones takes a breather. And that's who, nope. Carnaccione hangs onto the ball, and he intended for Greg Bedrick. Nice fake up the middle by Carnaccione. Number 1, Pruitt Petty on the coverage for the Bison. Bedrick is a big target.
Craig, I really like that offensive concept. They had just stunned them with a run up the middle, so they do a little play fake. It was not successful, but I really like the call. That keeps the defense honest.
The Athletic Boosters steak roast this Sunday at the SNPJ from 1 to 7. $9 for the tickets. Get them at the concession stand.
Quigley remains in the ball game as the fullback. Brambo to the bottom of your screen. Carnaccione throws, and he's got Perry Dakwar on the right side, puts a nice move on Jardine and lunges forward to the 40-yard line, so he picked up 5 yards. Nice effort there as he just gave up his body and lunged to the 40, so it'll be 3rd down and 5 yards to go. As we said, Anthony Jardine on the tackle.
3:40 left, and boy, this half is moving right along. Big 3rd down play here for both teams because not just in terms of converting it to the 1st down, but this will establish field position either way.
3rd down and 5. 3 men in the backfield. Lou Godfrey is the up back. He's the man who caught that touchdown pass. And they hand the ball to Jones, and he lunges forward, but he's going to be short of a 1st down by about a yard. Jardine once again on the tackle. He had Jones by the ankles. And the Hornets will be a yard short, so decision time for Coach Feaster. But at this point in the field and this point in the 1st half, you got to believe he's going to go for it.
I would think he would. His defense has done very well, except on that 1 3-play drive. And they are in the middle part of the field, so even if they turned it back to him, that's a good part of the field to give it to them.
Number 32, Perry Dakwar, brought in the play for the Hornets. They'll have to hustle up to the line as they're taking their sweet time. 4th down, and they're going to call it 2. It looks like a long one from here. Once again, 3 men in the backfield. Long count, and they hand it to Jones, and he is very close to a 1st down. Looked like his helmet broke the plane, but he was knocked back. We'll have to see where they spot the ball. Craig Simorani, that is, on the tackle, and that is a 1st down for the Hornets as they spot it right on the 35-yard line, and I can tell right now already that Simorani is the name that I'm not going to be able to get by the end of the evening.
Well, he'll probably hunt you up come Monday. I think all athletes should be named Smith, Jones. Not things like Isabella or Polachek. Names like that. Those are tough.
Hornets have the ball on the Bison 35-yard line, 1st down and 10. And they give the ball to Svensson, runs into one of his blockers, but cuts back and is thrown down by Anthony Jardine. And he was actually thrown ahead for an extra yard or 2, so he'll pick up 4 on the play. And we have a man down for the Bison. Hopefully just the wind knocked out of him.
And the key there was him peeling back off that block by the tight end. That was a beautiful move. Nothing going on to the outside.
When play resumes, 1 minute and 48 to go here in the 1st half.
And remember, at the half, we will be seeing our first homecoming festivities of the season for the Hustling Hornets. Actually, I think it's Hustling. I think it's no G on the end, absolutely.
Second down and 6. Hornets have the ball just outside the Bison 30. Carnacion rolls to his left, looking downfield for a receiver. He's got Ted Gramble, but that ball is thrown out of bounds and incomplete. Craig Cimarroni on the coverage.
I told you, Craig, they can hear us up here. It's all right. I'm going to go out and make this play. Watch it. Had tremendous protection here. Good coverage downfield. As we may have pointed out earlier, Beechwood plays a pretty straight-up 50 defense with both ends standing up as opposed to getting down in the three-point stance ordinarily, except on very short yardage situations.
1:25 to go, first half. Kirtland leads 7-6 over Beechwood. Third down and 6. Carnacion back to throw, and he is hit from behind and dropped, and the ball is fumbled, and it's recovered by Tom Javich. Matt Stream, the man who made the hit on Carnacion and blindsided him, and Beechwood gets the ball back with 1 minute and 18 seconds to go on their own 40-yard line.
That was your basic blindside hit, the quarterback's nightmare. Never saw him coming, never had a chance to pull the ball in. Super defensive play, our first turnover.
Timeout for Beechwood, so they exercise their first timeout of the half with 1:18 to go.
Now, we've seen in the past, Joe Perella, this is a situation where obviously you want to try. He's got 60 yards to go and 1:18 to do it. That's their first down. But this is where he will slip in a draw. And speaking of draw, they always draw me to them. Miguelito's Italian Express, 449-0776. Young lady, the pizza and pasta is much better than that popcorn. How's that for peas? And then when you're done, trot on over to see Al, Mike, and Paul at Warehouse Beverage, 382-2400. Fine fellows all. Or call them up. Tell them you're coming. Cleveland Mobile Telephone, 749-1535. You can call any of those young men if their numbers aren't unlisted.
1:18 to go here in the first half. As we said, we have the marching bands coming up at halftime and our first homecoming, and homecoming's always an exciting time of year for all the schools, and hopefully we'll have another one or possibly two before the year's out if we can pick the right game. We'll have to call ahead and find out, Bob, if they're having
Cleveland Mobile Telephone, absolutely.
Right. First down and 10. Swing pass to Kimmelman, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 50-yard line, so very close to a first down, but more importantly, the clock stops with 1:13 to go, and if they mark it right on the 50, which they do, it will be a first down for the Bison, and it is.
Their 8th first down of the half, and that was a beautiful pro play. Down and out, get out of bounds.
Eisenberg, the young sophomore, showing a lot at the quarterbacking position.
That took only 5 ticks off the clock, and they got about 10.5 yards on the play. That's not bad.
Silas is the slot, and they're going to run another sideline play, going deep. Dakwar on the coverage, and it is incomplete. Intended for Roland Silas. Dakwar did the important thing there for a defensive back, as he went after the ball and not the man. And Silas did the same thing, and Dakwar was more close to being the intended receiver, I think, than Silas was.
And that's why that contact was absolutely incidental, no penalty. They were both going after the ball. Both the offensive man and defensive man, as we pointed out in the past, have an equal right to the ball.
We've got a second down and 10 for the Bison. You see Steve Reed at the top of your screen. Silas is the slot. Kimmelman at the bottom of your screen. They're going to throw the ball again. Eisenberg gets it off and shows that good arm, and he's just incomplete. Intended for Roland Silas. Brett Jones and Perry Dakwar on the coverage, and he missed him by 6 to 8 inches.
And you know what happened there, Craig? I think as Silas looked back, he either lost the ball in the lights, or as he looked up, he broke stride, because I think if he would have just kept running straight on, keeping up with the same pace, that ball would have been right on the money. But it's very easy. If you folks have never participated in an athletic event when you're under the lights, it's real easy to lose a ball in the lights, believe me.
1 minute, 1 second to go here in the first half. 3rd down, 10 yards to go for the Bison.
They've got to think about converting this and not getting a touchdown on this play.
Eisenberg back to throw once again. Being chased, got nowhere to go. He gets the ball off and fires it out of bounds. And Greg Bedrick laid the hit on him. He had a man down the field. That was number 31, Roland Silas. And the impact of the hit may have, in the referee's judgment, thrown that pass off. So therefore, no intentional grounding call. But 4th down and 10, ball right on the 50-yard line. And what do you do, Bob? Do you kick the ball away and try to pin Kirtland deep?
Oh, yeah, absolutely in this situation.
Of course, you saw Rondell Lewis come out in punt formation.
You betcha.
The snap is good, and everybody was coming. Svensson will call for the fair catch and take it at the 26 to stop the clock with 48 seconds to go. So not trying to eat up any more time than is necessary. They immediately call for the fair catch. And they'll have the ball, and let's put your coach's cap back on again. Your coach, Ray Feaster, you have a 7-6 lead, 48 seconds to go. The ball pretty deep in your territory. What do you do?
Being of the George Patton School of Football, you attack. Attack always. In my younger days, before you were born, Craig, I saw Paul Brown in his later years here in Cleveland lose more. Paul Brown lose more games by sitting on leads. Go after him.
And let's see what Coach Feaster decides to do. He hands the ball right up the middle to Quigley, and he's tripped up and dropped at the 31-yard line. Could have been a bigger play than that if he hadn't lost his footing.
Going without the huddle here. No, now they're going to drop back.
35 seconds and counting as another play comes into quarterback Irby Carnacion. Say that backwards 3 times real fast with a mouthful of marbles, Bob.
I said it sideways once and got my face slapped.
20 seconds
and
20 seconds and counting. Don't forget, we do have the bands at halftime. And they hand the ball to Quigley again, and he plows forward for 2 or 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 4, 5, 4, 3. The clock will tick down, so the Hornets, after one big play, Beechwood eating up the yardage in the first half, getting a lot of first downs, but all that matters is the score, and as of right now, the Hornets lead the Beechwood Bison 7-6. And coming up, we will have the Hornet Marching Band as well as the Bison Marching Band, so please stay tuned for that. The score once again, the Hornets 7 and the Bison 6.
For all those of you who wondered what happened to Popeil and K-Tel, I'm still wondering. Welcome back. We are at Kirtland after a very nice halftime show. Greg, 7-6. 7-6. We thought it was going to be close. We talked about how the East Suburban Conference has been close all year. Can't get much closer than this.
Not much at all, Bob. As we see the statistics up there, if you get on to the total statistics, 162 for the Hornets, 139 for the Bisons. The Hornets picked up, I believe it was 64 yards on that touchdown.
One big chunk there. You see the passing, 5 for 10, 4 for 13, which is kind of surprising because Beechwood is known as the passing club. Wasn't that significant a turnover, frankly. It did not result in a TD.
First downs, the Bisons have doubled the Hornets 8-4, and in 3rd down conversions, the Hornets have yet to convert, and the Bisons are 2 out of 6. The penalty yards non-significant, and it was a very clean first half. 2 very, very big plays, and other than that, the defenses did a pretty fine job as we are set for the second half kickoff. Number 34, that is Ken McCory, in to kick off, and he does so, and it goes the direction of Pruitt Petty, and he takes the ball at the 15. He's to the 25, around the left side. He's to the 30, and he is dragged down at the 39-yard line. Perry Dakwar is there, as well as number 74, Kevin Sopko. And the Bisons, once again, Bob, excellent field position here to start the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, they started off their very first drive, as you folks may recall, way back when, from the 20, but since then they've started from the 45, the 39, the 49, the 40, and now the 39 here. So sometimes when you don't make use of that good field position, it comes back to haunt you later.
Greg Eisenberg is the quarterback. A little bit of confusion in the backfield with the slot, Roland Silas. Now he comes back in motion, and they hand the ball to Jardine up the middle, and he goes nowhere. The whole middle of the Kirtland line was there. Spearheading the attack was 71 Joe Gerges, as well as 67 Richie Greaves.
That was supposed to be a counter play, and what happened there was both of the inside men pinched in. They didn't go for the counter, made penetration into the backfield, and nothing doing.
2nd down and 10, no gain on the last play. Setting the offensive backfield, Jardine is the up back, number 44. Pruitt Petty is the deep back, number 1, as we see Silas in motion, and Eisenberg goes back to throw. He throws it up in the air, and it is incomplete. Intended for number 31, Roland Silas. Bruce Myers on the coverage for the Hornets, and either one of those two young men had the opportunity to catch that football.
That was kind of surprising. We had said before, Eisenberg has a tremendous arm, and he really rainbowed that ball. And as you said, that was your basic fly ball between two outfielders. Either one of them could have come up with it.
The clock is stopped, 10:51 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 10 for Beechwood. And it may be a big boost for the Hornet defense if they can stop them right here and get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah, you don't like to start off the half with 3 plays and a punt, ever.
Steve Reed is a man at the bottom of your screen. Eisenberg goes back to throw. He sets, he throws, and he's got a man in between the coverage. I believe that was number 80, Rod Kimmelman, and that's who it was. Perry Dakwar on the coverage for the Hornets, but the Bisons pick up a big 1st down on that 3rd and 10.
1st down, Beechwood.
Big conversion, and as we saw in the first half, they were fairly consistent at converting. And Mr. Kimmelman, his idol is Steve Largent. That's exactly who he looked like. Found the seam in the defense and was wide open.
Steve Reed goes to the top of your screen, Kimmelman to the bottom. The slot, as always, is Roland Silas. And they go back to throw again, and it's intended for Kimmelman. He makes the catch, puts a nice move on Dakwar, and he's down the sideline, dragged down from behind by Brett Jones. He'll spot the ball at the Hornet 26-yard line, and a nice move by Kimmelman to break free.
That was absolutely beautiful. Ducked his head, turned the corner. Watch this. Now the key here is that it's a quick out. Eisenberg didn't need a lot of time. That was a beautiful move. Gave him the hip inside and turned to the outside. But once again, going after our handheld people. We got to stop painting targets on those guys.
Well, maybe not.
Don't say that. There's a lot more of them than there are of us,
Good
buddy.
point. 1st down and 10. Ball on the Hornet 26. That is Pruitt, and he possibly picks up a yard or so.
Brought down by Joe Gerges.
Joe Gerges on the tackle for the Hornets.
Maybe a yard.
This is going to be a very key defensive series for Kirtland, no doubt about it. Notice how both teams tonight, Craig, have moved in fits and starts. They both have 2 or 3 really good gainers, big plays, and then they seem to sort of stumble or get sluggish. They can't seem to get back into gear.
Reed at the bottom of your screen, Kimmelman at the top. And Eisenberg going to throw it across the middle. He's got Silas. And he puts on a move, and he's hit from behind and dropped by Craig Svensson.
Pass to Roland Siles, complete, brought down by Craig Svensson. 1st down.
Bruce Myers also on the tackle. That's good for another 1st down for the Bison.
Simple play, turn in, little slant pattern, that's all it was, but it caught the Hornets by surprise.
Ball is on the 14-yard line, and Beechwood mounting quite a drive here to start the 2nd half. 9:30 and counting here to go in that quarter.
3 out of the last 4 plays have been 1st downs. Now they're going to try to flood him.
And they bring it back to Jardine up the middle, and he's pushed into the end zone. He fumbles the ball, and he recovers it. Good for a touchdown.
Incredible.
The touchdown call was made as the ball was being kicked around in the end zone. But nonetheless, Jardine covered the ball, good for the touchdown, and Beechwood is back on top. Let's watch it again.
Yeah, you see, he broke the plane. Once you break the plane in the end zone, the play is over. That was a brilliant play call by Coach Perella. He came up in what was obviously a passing formation, certainly fooled the fool up here in the press box. And all that served to do was spread out the Kirtland defense, and he runs a counter back to the left side.
Beechwood going to try the two-point conversion here as they lead 12-7, 9:13 to go. Eisenberg goes back to throw. He's looking, good coverage by the Hornets, but he's got a man, and he may try to scoot in the end zone, and he doesn't make it, and what a stick. Brett Jones laid a stick on Eisenberg. The ball came loose. The helmet almost flew off of his head. And that may be a very big play as time goes marching on here in the second half.
Brett Jones, watch this play. Says his nickname is the Doctor, and I'm wondering if it's Dr. Death, Skip Thomas from the old Raiders. We felt that one up here, and that was a long way away from us.
You could hear that one up here.
Oh. But nonetheless, there it is, 12-7 as Beechwood takes the ball. What have we got here? That was a 7-play drive, 61 yards. They literally made it look easy.
Looked very reminiscent of that Mentor team we saw last week as they just passed the ball right down the field and looked very good doing it.
Boy, that, as I mentioned at the time, that was one of the most sophisticated, if not the most sophisticated passing attacks I have ever seen in high school football. I think there's a number of college teams that would give a hard time to.
We see number 35, and that is Rondell Lewis in the kick for the Bison. And it's a line drive kick, but deep, taken by Myers at the 12. He's to the 20. He's to the 30. He's to the 40. He is hit and dropped at the 44-yard line, and coming right out of the chute, Bruce Myers, and the Hornets have the ball in excellent field position at the 44.
Special teams until the last, I'd say 10 or 12 years were totally underrated at all levels of competition. And what a boost that gives your team. You've just been scored on, and the special teams come back. All they did was run a simple play up the middle. Terrific blocking, and they give you the ball back on their 44. It helps the play on a short field.
Myers stays in the backfield as the tailback, replacing Svensson. Quigley is the up back. Carnaccione is the quarterback. They hand the ball to Myers right up the middle to the 50, to the 47-yard line. So Myers continues where he left off and has the Hornets moving the ball here.
Now that's what we expected to see more of, was Kirtland running straight on, but actually they didn't do as much of that in the first half as we had expected. That was just power football.
Tom Javich on the tackle for the Bison.
Bisons. And remember what Coach Perella said in our pregame show, Craig. The size of Kirtland, he was worried about that wearing them down. We may see that happen here in the third and fourth quarters.
2nd down and 2. They give the ball back to Myers. He's got the first down. He's ahead to the 40. Keeps the legs pumping down to the 39. And another first down for the Hornets. So where the defense was the story, except for 2 plays in the first half, the offense has been that story here in the second half.
You watch the replay here again. This is nothing real fancy. That's just straight ahead drive blocking. Follow the fullback through the hole.
Beechwood has lost 2 games in the fourth quarter this year because of what Coach Perella mentioned in the pregame about the size, just getting worn down, and had the game in hand for 3.5 quarters and just couldn't keep the march going. Myers again for no gain this time, may have even lost a half of a yard. Anthony Jardine as well as Mike Dolovek.
Anthony Jardine.
And you notice what they did on that play, Craig? This is where Perella may gamble. He put several people up on the line close, and they were slanting across the line of scrimmage. Now, that makes them very susceptible if they continue to do that. He may mix it up, but if they continue to do it regularly, that'll make them very susceptible to a play-action pass.
Loss of a yard on the play. 2nd down, 11. 7:04 to go here in the third quarter. And Carnaccione throws. He's got a man on the outside. That's Grambo. He caught the ball, and he's out of bounds right at the 35-yard line. So they pick up about 4 yards. Jardine again, and this guy is all over the field, Bob.
You've been saying his name a lot tonight.
We've got a 3rd down and 6.
Big 3rd down play here for both sides. Kirtland wants to keep this momentum going, which they've been walking right down the field. Beechwood wants to shut them down, although they are in 4-down territory here, practically speaking.
3rd down, a long 5 to go. Single setback in the backfield. The man in motion is Myers. And they pitch the ball back to Quigley around the left side. He's going to have a bit of doing to get to the first down. Flags down, knocked out of bounds.
Quigley carries the ball out of bounds. We have a flag in the play.
Number 37, Ari Seaman, knocked him out of bounds. We have flags coloring the center of the field, and that is in the holding or clipping, and it is a clip against Kirtland. They may decline that penalty.
That's a biggie. If they take, yeah, this is going to be an interesting decision for him. Does he want to push him back 15 yards, or does he want to take the down? I think I might take the yardage, frankly. 15 yards is a long way to make up at any level of competition, but particularly in scholastic football.
Yes, it is. And they are going to take the yardage. So that'll march Kirtland back, and back some more.
Thank you.
What looks to be about 3rd down and 23.
Remember that one later, folks. That could be a very crucial play. Now they're back on their own side of the field, and that is clearly not 4-down territory. They've only got one shot at it.
Myers and Quigley in the backfield. Quigley is the up back. Grambo to the bottom of your screen. Dacquar to the top as Carnaccione setting up the screen pass, and it is tipped and almost intercepted.
Brilliant.
Number 56, John Gross, was the man who almost came up with that well-conceived play for Carnaccione. Not enough arc on the ball to get it over those linemen as they came in, and Kirtland will be forced to punt the ball. 4th down and 23, and if you're Beechwood, you have to like what's happening so far here in the second half.
Yeah, when their defense needed to stiffen, it did. That's the second time the Hornets have shown us that screen pass. Both times they set it up very well, but neither time the execution worked out.
Greg Bedrick back to kick. Kimmelman, as well as, I believe, it's Pruitt Petty. Bedrick gets off a nice kick. That's Jardine. And he takes the ball at the 16, and he goes left side, being chased from behind, and he is going to be knocked nowhere as he breaks another tackle, and he is going to go all the way.
There's a flag down, I believe.
I thought he was knocked out of bounds, and that's what they're calling back at the 41-yard line. It looked as though he had stepped out of bounds. And then he kept going, and the whistles were finally heard.
Boy, there were a lot of people on the Kirtland side of the field here, so wait a minute. They breathed a sigh of relief there. I think what we saw go down was a marker where the official was marking where he went out of bounds. Watch the replay here. This is a nice run. Look at this speed around the left side. He just turns it on. There's no block that gets him around that corner. He just turns on the jets. Once again, good field position for the Bisons.
1st down and 10. They have the ball on their own 41-yard line with 6 minutes, 27 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. I'm sure they'd like to hold on to the ball here and get a nice drive going. They hand the ball to Perry around the left side, and he is hit and dropped. Bob Simpson put the pads to Perry, picked up probably 2 or 3 yards.
Simpson and Brett Jones.
If you're Coach Perella, Bob, let's put the coaching cap back on again. Do you try to go up on top and try to get the big score right here and maybe totally decimate the Kirtland defense, or at least hope in your own mind, hopefully, to do that? Or do you just try to eat up the clock and try to get a nice drive going?
What would George Patton say? Attack! Firepower! Go after him. What he's going to try to do, obviously, is continue to mix it up.
Eisenberg throws, and it is complete to Rob Kimmelman. And that is very, very close to a 1st down. And if I was a gambling man, which I am not, I would say he's got it, and he does.
He should have bet the ranch on it. Watch the replay. Nice catch. That was a tough ball. Came a little bit off to the wrong side. He made a very nice catch. Good concentration there. That's their 12th 1st down. Beechwood is really, they've been stacking up the 1st downs. They just didn't put them to as good a use as the Bison fans would have hoped in the 1st half, but so far in this half, they're rolling.
Excuse me, Bob. Number 33, that is Scott Perry, the up back in the I formation. And they hand the ball to Pruitt Perry, and he may have lost a yard. Ben Davis, as well as Greg Bedrick on the tackle for the Hornets with 5 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
They had a blitz coming, and as sometimes happens when you get a blitz develop against a running play, they shot right through the holes when the guards pulled penetration, and nothing happened. Boy, that's a real sinking feeling when you get the ball stuffed in your stomach as somebody's reaching out to grab you.
2nd down, 11 to go. Jardine is back in the ball game. Eisenberg back to throw. Quick slant across the middle, incomplete. Greg Svensson on the coverage. That pass intended for Roland Silas. He's the man we've been seeing in the slot all evening.
It's dark out there. It was a long week this week, wasn't it, Craig? It was for me, I guarantee you.
Finally got rid of that blasted cold, though, after 2.5 weeks, and I did not get any suggestions from the viewers out there of how to get rid of it. I had to do it all by myself. 3rd down, 11, 4:31 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Kimmelman, the man at the bottom of your screen.
Blitz.
And they're coming, and he is going to be sacked. Ben Davis. And a fumble on the play, but I believe they're going to rule it dead. And they do. Kevin Sopko also in there, but Davis was the man who scored it through.
Ben Davis brings the quarterback down.
A well-executed defensive effort by the Hornets.
They really got tough and shut down that drive when they needed to. That unofficially is the 3rd sack tonight for the Hornets. And I say unofficially for those of you who are not that familiar with high school ball, they do not keep sacks as an official statistic. Some people think that's dumb. I think that was done not to encourage going after the quarterback at this level of play, which I think was a good idea.
Rondell Lewis in the punt. Svensson Myers back deep for the Hornets. And he gets off an end-over-end kick. It'll be taken by Myers as he fights the ball away from Svensson. Cuts back to the right side, got a lot of room. He's to the 40, tripped up, and he rolls forward to the 44-yard line. So the Hornets have the ball in good field position, and I keep saying that time after time after time, good field position, and the score is only 12-7, so that tells you something about the defense.
Absolutely, 44 again. That's exactly where they started their first drive from in this half.
They have opted to put the junior Bruce Myers in the backfield as the freshman Craig Svensson comes to the sideline. He was very instrumental in the first half. This has been a brutal ball game on both sides, and it's tough going both ways. And they may just want to rest him, feeling he's more valuable on defense. And Carnaccione, quick slant behind the intended receiver, Ted Grambo. Number 45, Craig Cimarroni on the coverage. 2nd down and 10 for the Hornets. The ball right on the 45-yard line, actually just inside. Number 32, Perry Dakwar, runs the play in. Dakwar and number 87, Lou Godfrey, are the people running the plays in and out for the Hornets. The temperature has stayed above 50 degrees here. It was about 52, 53. It's hard to tell the clock across the street behind a telephone pole, but it still is in the low 50s, which is good news. And the blitz is on, and they got a man across the middle, and I would see from what I saw that was interference. The man was hit before the ball was in his grasp. Rob Kimmelman making that fine defensive effort. And there's the clock across the street.
The famed clock,
and it's 51 degrees. Thanks, guys. Nice shot. Third down and 10.
You've made that clock famous now.
And that bank.
And we got to talk to them. They don't have an ATM there, though. I wanted to get some money.
Bob has 8 cents in his pocket.
8 cents, exactly.
Call collect. 3rd down and 10. And that's Quigley up the middle, and he's got the first down, breaks another tackle to the 40, and dragged out of bounds at the 38-yard line, and a nice play by Eric Quigley. Anthony Jardine, that name once again on the tackle, and a big first down for the Hornets.
And that, folks, is their first 3rd down conversion, and that was simply a handoff to the up man. What a tremendous effort. Once again, great line surge. Miguelito's Italian Express, 44976. That's where we'll be heading after the game.
1st down and 10. Hornets have the ball on the Bison's 38-yard line. And they hand the ball to Myers, and he's hit from behind the line. Number 77, Matt Stream.
Bruce Myers stopped at the line of scrimmage by Matt Stream.
And after the game,
we have a loss of a
and
yard
after we
on
pick
the
up
play.
some pizza, we'll head over to Al, Mike, and Paul's Warehouse Beverage, 382-2400. give them a call. Party needs, they'll advise you. And call them. Call them on your mobile telephone from Cleveland Mobile Telephone, 749-1535.
How does the commercial go? Go ahead. Pick up the phone.
Now, I was
give
going to
them a
say,
call.
and you absolutely do not need money. I mean, with 8 cents in your pocket, you can still call.
2nd down and 12 for the Hornets. Godfrey in motion. And they hand the ball to Quigley. And keeps the legs going and picks up a yard or two.
Very Quigley on the carry.
That was not very well disguised as Carnaccione was holding the ball out, begging someone to take it out of his hands. Is what
Come
it looked
on,
like.
come on. I'm supposed to give this sucker to somebody.
As we are under 2 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter.
Give him a gain of a yard.
You know, the Beechwood defense,
3rd and 11.
well, both defenses obviously performed well, but it's interesting how every time it looks like Kirtland really has them on the ropes, they seem to rise up with 2 or 3 good defensive plays and cut them off at the pass.
Very good observation. 3rd down, 11 to go for the Hornets. We'll see if they can convert their second 3rd down as Carnaccione rolls to the right. And he throws a pass that's complete and very close to a 1st down. We'll have to see who that young man was, and that is Perry Dakwar.
Irby Carnaccione's pass.
And I'm going to put myself out on a limb, and I don't think they got it. I think they're a half a yard short again.
However,
got to be right one of these times.
However, even if they are, this is 4-down territory. So
yes, it is.
You can bet they will go for it, even if they are short.
That could be the biggest non-conversion of a 3rd down that we'll see all day, if they in fact didn't get it. And boy, that's a long way away from where we are.
You betcha. I'm looking past this pole here. Let's see. Chain gang's having a little trouble getting the marker. See, the official puts a little clip on that chain right where one of the yard lines is, and that's how they line it up.
Let's watch it again. And I'm wrong again.
They're on a roll tonight, boy.
I'll tell you what we'll do. If I think it's a half a yard short, we'll just consider it a 1st down. Get the graphic ready. We'll just pop it up on the screen.
Case closed. I like it.
The reason that took so long also is Coach Perella was not pleased about something, and he was letting the official know about it. At least that's, and as you see him now, he still does not look too happy about something.
That may have been the spot.
1 minute, 12 seconds to go, 3rd quarter. Kirtland moving the ball against the Bison defense, which has bent, and not broken, except for the one big play, and that was a interesting play to say the least. 1st down and 10. They give it to Quigley up the middle. He bursts through down to the 20 and inside the 20 to the 19.
Quigley carries the ball.
And the offensive line from Kirtland, as you said, Bob, maybe starting to take over here. Their size starting to wear down the defensive line of Beechwood.
Certainly looks that way because, again, on that play, there was nothing fancy there. That was just straight ahead drive blocking. We've seen pretty basic football on those running plays. No traps or no deception, no counters. They're just running straight up, knocking people back on their butts. That's and you get a big guy charging behind you who squares up and keeps his legs driving, you can get some yardage pretty quick.
24 seconds to go. 3rd quarter. This will probably be the last play. And they give the ball to Quigley again, and he is tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. He may have fallen forward for a yard, and that may be enough for a 1st down, and it is.
1st down, Kirtland.
Clock stops with the 1st down. 15 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, and this is becoming interesting as Kirtland has picked up 2 key 3rd down conversions here, the only 2 of the ball game to keep this drive alive.
Well, they look like they're in gear, and they're getting serious.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And what continues to be a very entertaining ball game here at Kirtland, as we will go into the final quarter of play here with the Beechwood Bisons leading the Kirtland Hornets by a score of 12-7.
Well, there's a young lady who is enjoying herself. She's boogieing down. I don't think she's standing right by the Hornets, so she's probably not enjoying the score, which at this point puts the Bisons on top of the Hornets 12-7. But as you alluded to, a very entertaining game.
Looks just a little bit too old for my son, I'll say. I got to keep him away from those older women.
He's how old?
4 months.
I was going to say, I didn't think he was 6 months old yet. Don't be lining him up already, okay, Craig? I mean, you know, jeez.
Get back to that in a minute.
Hornets have the ball on their own on the Beechwood 17-yard line. 1st down and 10. Godfrey goes in motion, and they hand the ball to Myers. He's to the 15. He's to the 10. Knocked down at the 5-yard line. Good enough for another Hornet first down. And the offensive line of the Hornets has definitely taken over.
They are, as one would say, asserting themselves right now. They are just knocking them back off the line of scrimmage.
First down and goal from just inside the 5-yard line.
You notice after a play like that, the guys, you saw in that tight shot a second ago, the guys literally carry themselves differently. It's, okay, we're going to get up there and do it again.
Full house in the backfield. Dakwar the up back, and they give the ball to Quigley, and he is stopped, and he goes nowhere. May have made it back to the line of scrimmage. Be second down and 5.
That was the 12th play on this drive, which is by far the longest drive play-wise Kirtland has had in this game. And yet again, as we pointed out before, it seems like every time the Bison's defense is rocking back, they seem to come up with a big play or two. However, from this distance, the Hornets will have 4 cracks at it.
No gain on the play and no loss, so second down and 5, 10:53 and counting here in the game. Beechwood leads Kirtland 12-7. Kirtland knocking on the door, and they give it to Myers around the right side, and he is hit and stuck at the 3-yard line. A nice effort by number 1. That would be Pruitt Petty.
We could hear that one all the way up here, too.
We have earmuffs on, too.
That's right.
They'll spot the ball at about the 2.5-yard line, so he picked up half the distance. Third down and 2.5.
This is the time, if you're Coach Perella, may want to gamble a little bit on defense and hope you fill the right hole.
And looking across the way, Coach Perella and half of his staff are on the field at this point. They give the ball to Jones up the middle, spins off of 1 tackle and is very close to the goal line. Looks like they'll spot it at about the 1. So 4th down and 1 to go.
Oh, lingering death there. You know, that was a brilliant play by that young man to get anything. It looked like he was going to be knocked back for a yard or two, and he twisted and drove. What does that look like? From here, that looks like about a yard and a half, maybe. Big, big play. No kidding, Bob.
You watch the offensive line of Kirtland in the huddle slapping each other on the helmet, trying to get themselves inspired for that last surge. As you see the ball, a great shot there, just at about the 1-yard line.
Yeah, maybe just a shade over a yard.
We got to just keep it here. Well, we won't. See what happens on this play. They go right up the middle with Jones, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. They opened a hole, and Jones just dove through and into the end zone for a touchdown, and Kirtland leads this one 13-12. The extra point coming up real soon. Let's watch it again.
The last 7 plays of this drive, Craig, they used that full house backfield and that extra blocker. They ran just about everything between the tackles. And it was almost as though they said, look, we're tired of fooling around here. We're going to go back to what we thought at the beginning was our strength. And they just pounded the Bisons. To the Bisons' credit, they made them take all 4 cracks to get that last 5 yards.
We'll see what Coach Feaster decides to do here, Bob. Opt for the 1-point or the 2-point conversion.
Timeout, Kirtland.
And Kirtland's going to take a timeout to think about it.
Exactly.
Since we have time, Bob, what are we going to do? What are they going to do?
Kirtland Community Cares.
Frankly, if I were Kirtland, depending on how confident they are in their kicking game, I would go for the 1 extra point. Beechwood does not seem to be in real good shape with their kicking game, so I think that point is irrelevant. What was relevant was the missed extra point and the missed conversion by Beechwood, because that meant just scoring the 6 was going to put Kirtland ahead. I don't really think, from what we have seen, I don't really think the Bisons have a field goal potential.
We'd like you to invite you to join Craig Dees and Bob.
We will just have to wait and see here as Kirtland has taken the timeout. Ray Feaster out in the middle of his troops trying to decide what is going to go down here.
That was some drive, 56 yards, 15 plays. They really grounded out on that one.
Monday evening or afternoon at 3:30 p.m.
They opened up with 2 passes in that drive. Then they only had 1 more pass, the one for the first down. The last 8 plays were runs, and all out of that full house backfield.
With that big offensive line of gentlemen going 214, 174, 170, 200, and 235, and a tight end that weighs 205. There is a big offensive line as Kirtland appears to be going for the two-point conversion. Jones is the lone setback. And Carnaccione rolls to the right, gets a good block from Jones. He's got a man in the end zone. That's Bedrick, and it is successful. Well-conceived play, and Kirtland jumps out to a 15-12 lead.
I was going to say, did you see him cradle that baby? So I'm taking this right against my stomach. I'm not giving it any chance of getting away from me.
He caught that ball like it was a basket of eggs.
Absolutely. It was not going to make any... Oh, watch this. Okay, he was making very, very sure of that.
So 9 minutes, 52 seconds to go. There you see the score, the Kirtland Hornets 15, the Beechwood Bisons 12. And I hate to go back to what Coach Perella told me earlier in the week, and that was the fourth quarter blues for his squad. And, you know, a big play here could do it, but Kirtland's offensive line on that drive in particular really showed their strength and dominance as they just blew some holes open with all those running plays. McCrory to kick the ball off, and it's a squibber, and it bounces inside the 30, and it will be just covered at the 28-yard line. Steve Reed hopped on that ball for Beechwood.
You know, sometimes when it starts going bad, it's like your mother-in-law arrived and some bricks fell on you. That is by far their poorest field position since the very first time they touched the ball when they took it at the 20.
And I'll tell you, the 29-yard line is not a bad place to get the football.
No, not ordinarily.
That's the worst so far.
Not ordinarily. But now what they want is a nice, long, time-consuming drive and a score, obviously.
There's a fumble, and it is recovered by Beechwood, I believe. The ball is still rolling around. We'll see who gets it. And they give the ball to the Kirtland Hornets.
Oh, boy. I think he had it, Craig, on the first bounce, but as he tried to turn, it came out again. Boy, that hurts. Very first play and a turnover, and Kirtland's got to be sky high now.
Let's watch it again. There's the ball loose. There's Svensson in there, and just a pile of Hornets jumped on top and may have just ripped it right out of his hand. What I was going to say to start, Eisenberg was not the quarterback on that play. It was Anthony Jardine. He came in to play quarterback. They had Scott Perry and Pruitt Petty in the backfield. Not that that had any bearing on that play. It was just a mishandled ball. Kirtland has the ball back, and they go right back to the running game, and Eric Quigley, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Number 44, Jardine again, as well as Tom Javich, number 60, on the tackle for the Bisons. 8 minutes and 49 seconds, and all of a sudden, the clock has become a factor, and Beechwood's defense, which gave up that long, sustained drive, time-consuming, a lot of sweat, a lot of emotion, is all of a sudden right back out on the field again. And
not a good position to be in. And right now, Kirtland's got the chance to put them away.
With literally no rest at all. And they hand the ball to Myers as he jumps up the middle, and he is hit and dropped after a gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Number 80, that's Kimmelman, excuse me. And also, it appears to be number 5, Mike Chiswick, on the tackle.
You know, win, lose, or draw, the Bisons have shown they have a lot of spirit. We just commenting on how they've got to be dog-tired. They've got to be a little down after giving up that touchdown. And on the last 2 plays, they have just stuck it to them. I mean, they've got a lot of fight in them, no doubt about it.
They certainly have. 3rd down and 8, 7:50 and counting here in the ball game. The Hornets lead the Bisons at 15-12. There's that full house backfield. Godfrey is the up back. And Carnaccione back to throw. He's got the big tight end. Here comes Jardine, and it is complete to Lou Godfrey down at the 24-yard line. Carnaccione pump fake to Greg Bedrick. All of a sudden, we saw Anthony Jardine, that name we've seen so many times, come into the picture to lay a stick on Carnaccione. He fired the ball up that looked like to nobody, and all of a sudden there's Lou Godfrey. So we watch it again. And Godfrey in the middle of 3 receivers showing some athletic ability and catching that ball.
What a great catch that was. And there you see the turnovers. 1-1 in here in the second half. And Sweet Lou as they call Mr. Godfrey.
It's the man who caught that touchdown pass earlier, the touchdown tip, I should say, and ran for 64 yards. 7:10 to go here in the ballgame. Kirtland has another first down, and they give the ball to Myers to the 20, down to the 15, and down to the 13. Very close to another Hornet first down, and that last catch may have just put another nail in the Bison coffin emotionally.
Yeah, their best hope right now, Craig, literally is a turnover, because if they give up another score here, we're down to 6:54. They'd have to score twice, the Bisons would, to get back in the game, and that's going to be tough.
First down and 10 for the Hornets. They have the ball on the 14-yard line. The full house backfield again. Godfrey, the up back, Quigley, and then Myers in that order in the backfield. Ted Grambo's at the bottom of your screen. They hand the ball to Myers again. He's down to about the 10, push back, and they are signaling for a fumble, and it was a fumble, and Beechwood gets the ball back.
See, I told you they could hear us. That's unbelievable. That is really incredible.
On the 11-yard line.
You know, and I was just about to comment, I did not see the ball come loose. As you watch it here, see, they were in there trying to tear that ball away from them, which was exactly what you should be doing in that situation. Could not see who came up with it.
That was a fine defensive effort. As you said, they just literally tore the ball out of Myers' hands, and that's all you can do in that situation when you have the ball being pushed down your throat at your own 10-yard line. Beechwood has 89 yards to go. They have the ball on the 11-yard line, 6 minutes, 12 seconds to go. They have two wide men at the bottom of your screen. They hand the ball straight up the middle, and once again, Jardine is the quarterback.
This is a totally unexpected development. I wonder if he was hurt or what happened there. You certainly wouldn't expect to see that in this situation. Now, is he coming in?
No.
I can't see. No.
Scott Perry was the ball carrier. He's the other man in the backfield along with Pruitt Petty, so you have Perry and Petty in the backfield. Out to Roland Silas, and he is a little short of the first down by a yard or two. Well-conceived play once again. Bob Simpson, Brett Jones, Ben Davis, Perry Dakwar all over on that side of the field making the tackle for the Hornets. That looked as though it was an option play with the lateral.
Yeah, it really did. And this is absolutely fascinating in terms of what has developed here. And, of course, we have no way of knowing if Eisenberg was hurt or if Perella just decided to throw something completely different at them here.
I'm trying to look for him on the sidelines, and I do not see him anywhere. He may be behind a crowd. But at any rate, Anthony Jardine is the quarterback, and he's going to keep it on the ground and cut back and pick up some big yardage up the middle. Good for a first down. He's got one man to beat, and he may go all the way. Jones is the only man who can catch him, and he's not going to do it. Jardine takes the ball all the way for a Beechwood touchdown, and all of a sudden Beechwood has jumped out to a lead.
No flags. What an unbelievable play. That looked like it was out of the Big 8, folks. Option play, did not pitch or give it off, made a phenomenal inside move, and then speed. Wow, he just ran away from everybody on the field. What an incredible play. Now, you see that inside move? Now watch, he just pulls away from everybody here. It was like he put it into fifth gear and was gone. What an unbelievable development.
18-15, and believe me, that two-point conversion by Kirtland early looms large and may force Beechwood into doing the same.
Yeah, I would expect to see them go for two here.
We will see as they bring the ball to the near hash mark to open up the far side of the field for a possible passing play, you would think. And they have Jardine as the quarterback with Scott Perry and Pruitt Petty in the backfield. Petty is the deep back, and we see a flag, and we may have encroachment once again.
Now that play, Craig, did not that play start from the 18-yard line?
I believe it did.
82-yard run. By far the longest run we've seen from scrimmage. Whoops. Mouth guard probably.
Somebody didn't have their mouth guarded. 5
Yep.
yards.
You know, I hate to admit this, they didn't even have mouth guards. I played in high school. They did not. They did have face guards, though, on the helmets, honest.
Oh, you wore helmets?
Yes, we did wear helmets. They were leather, as Kerry Polachek just pointed out to me. I'll see you later, Kerr.
8 yards to go for Beechwood for the two-point conversion. Jardine pitches back to Petty, and he is not going to get in there, so 4:38 remains in the ball game. Beechwood out to a 3-point lead. And this one is getting very, very interesting, very, very fast.
Just at the time, well, this is what sports makes interesting. It makes sports interesting, isn't it? Say that quickly. Just at the time when Kirtland really felt legitimately they could sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of their homecoming game. There they are down on the 10-yard line. There's a fumble, and 3 plays, 89 yards, 82-yard run for the touchdown, and now they're behind with only 4:38. Field position is going to be crucial on this kickoff.
On the last kickoff, if you recall, when Rondell Lewis kicked off to the Hornets, Bruce Myers brought the ball all the way up to the Hornet 41-yard line. They would love to see a replay of that, if not any more. With the 3-point difference, you're always thinking of overtime, and a few short weeks ago, this Kirtland team was in an overtime situation. As a matter of fact, they went to 3 overtimes, and they came out on top with an 18-12 victory over Newberry.
Stay tuned, folks. We usually take them right down to the wire.
Rondell Lewis to kick off for Beechwood, and as Bob said, this is critical. And it is a kick, and they kick it toward Perry Dacquar at the 20. He's to the 30, and he is hit and met and is dragged down at the 32-yard line, but not bad field position for the Hornets. And Beechwood doing a pretty good job of covering. Number 2, Steve Reed, was the man who made the initial contact on Dacquar, and then some of his friends came and helped him drag Dacquar down to the ground. 4:26, the clock becomes absolutely critical in this ball game.
Here's where the Bison defense has to try to suck it up, get some oxygen. One last push, and the Kirtland offense, on the other hand, has got to say, okay, we're just going to blow them out again.
Kirtland has Quigley in the backfield. Myers a slot to the right. And there's a fumble, and Beechwood may have recovered. They are signaling that way, and we'll see what the officials say when they unpile it. And Beechwood has got the ball.
Incredible.
And the wheels have come off here at Kirtland.
Incredible. This may be what we alluded to, and not lightly, by the way, at the top of the show, the homecoming syndrome. All of a sudden, they got a little tight, and that was simply a fumble on the exchange from center. So on the last 2 offensive plays from scrimmage, Kirtland has fumbled, and that is unusual for any team, and certainly for one as good as Kirtland.
3:48 to go. Now the clock is definitely in Beechwood's favor as they have the ball in excellent field position at the 33. They hand the ball to Petty, and he goes nowhere. Ben Davis on the tackle for the Hornets.
And did you notice him going through the line, Craig, holding on to the ball with both hands? The one thing they don't want to do is give it right back to him. They want to run some time off the clock. And remember, Kirtland only has 2 timeouts because they took that one to decide what they were going to do on the extra point. Boy, you can never tell what's going to come back late in the game to haunt you.
Anthony Jardine showing his flexibility, if you will. He was the man they depended on to run the ball in the first half. Now he's running the show himself. Scott Perry has come in and taken his position, as well as Pruitt Petty. And Jardine looks like he just tucks it away. He's going to come back. He breaks the tackle. He's going to come back the other way. He sure does. And he's to the 35. He's to the 25. He's to the 15. He breaks a tackle, and he is into the end zone for another touchdown. Anthony Jardine is doing it all by himself.
No flags. This is unbelievable. We have never seen anything like this in 5 years of doing football. That is absolutely phenomenal. Goes all the way to the right. As you said, it looked like he was going to tuck it away. The crucial thing was getting away from the man in the backfield, and then when he turned back the other way, he had a wall of blockers. There was nobody over there. He made one beautiful move about the 12. Watch it.
He has tucked it away here.
Yeah, it's like, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm taking off. He pointed out there was a beautiful block coming back. Watch that beautiful inside move. Another one. And that's it, baby. And Kirtland is stunned. 2:46, and they're down 24-15. And this homecoming crowd is absolutely shocked. They cannot believe what they have seen in the last minute or two.
Can you believe what we've seen in the last minute?
No, I'm shocked.
If you're Coach Joe Perella from Beechwood, you have to be loving the fact that, hey, his team had their back up against the wall, the same fourth quarter syndrome they have seen in the past, and were able to, at least for this point, overcome that. And you have to give those young men a lot of credit for sticking in there and fighting back. And Jardine looks in the middle, and it's a two-point conversion, complete to Roland Silas.
Insult to injury, and that now means they don't just need 2 scores, they need 2 touchdowns.
And there's only 2:45 to go. And what turned into a game where we were thinking possible OT has turned into a game where we are talking we're 2:45 away from the end, and we'll be going home.
Well, I talk to anyone who's known me for longer than 5 minutes, and you know it takes a lot to get me semi-speechless. But I am just amazed. Kirtland was rolling. All the momentum was going for them. Beechwood, I think their backs to the wall. They hit it through the wall, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, right after we had made the comment about their only hope was a turnover, they ripped the ball out of the ball carrier's hands. Tremendous 82-yard run, come back with another fumble recovery, score again, and boy, this homecoming crowd, unless we see a double-double miracle, is going to go home kind of sad tonight.
You and I may want to get into another business, Bob, when this is all said and done. We seem to have that, I guess you'd call it the broadcaster's gift. You mention something and it shall happen. And so far tonight, the only thing we've missed, or the only thing, I can't even say that I have missed, is I have blown 2 first downs.
Now there was a 15-yard penalty, obviously, which we did not see.
Must have been an unsportsmanlike conduct call.
After the play was dead, so they're kicking off from their 25.
And a nice kickoff goes to the far side, taken by Lou Godfrey to 31. He's to the 40. He is to the 50, inside the 50 to the 49. 2:39 and counting. Kirtland is going to have to put in the 2-minute offense here, get the ball back and do it again. And at this point, the way things have been going, the yardage has been coming, but not been coming in big chunks, a little bit at a time. And quite frankly, they don't have the time for that now. Beechwood's just got to stay away from the big play.
That's right. What Beechwood has to do is keep their focus, keep their concentration. The game is not over. They've got another 2.5 minutes to go. And as you said, make sure they don't give up that one big play and let Kirtland right back into it.
2:20 and counting. Beechwood Bison 26, Kirtland Hornets 15. The Viacom High School game of the week. Carnacion hands the ball right up the middle to Quigley. Keeps his feet and picks up about 6 yards. As Kirtland with the hurry-up offense, as you see them getting back in formation right away. Now we're down to the 2-minute warning, and we have no warning here in high school. The clock continues to roll. We're under 2 minutes now to go. And Kirtland had better get a score and get it quick in order to even have a prayer left. And they get the ball intended for Lou Godfrey.
Not a good idea.
We had a couple of young men on the field squaring off. They both got up, and out of nowhere came another player from Beechwood to lay the hit on Eric Quigley. A couple guys getting into the emotional part of it, but it was over, and then we had an outsider come in and decide to be the peacemaker after the fact.
That was really dumb, Craig. That was not a good idea, because the referee did exactly the right thing. He watched the 2 guys who had made the contact, and they were just kind of laying there saying, okay, the play's over, and then out of nowhere comes a teammate to smack the Kirtland guy. Now you just give up 15 yards in this situation. That's crazy, and I guarantee you, Coach Perella is not going to be happy. Well, hi there, up on the roof. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I almost started singing Up on the Roof, which would have driven everyone out of this place.
Better than when you sing Down on the Boardwalk.
No, that's not in my key.
1:49 to go. Now Kirtland has the ball on the 28-yard line thanks to the unsportsmanlike conduct call against Beechwood. 26-15 is the score, an 11-point bulge by the Bisons. 2 men in the backfield this time. Carnacion back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, going for Dakwar, and it is overshot him and out of bounds, incomplete. Number 1, Pruitt Petty on the coverage for the Bisons. Now it's 2nd down and 10, 1:43 to go.
Beechwood is laying back in that prevent defense, which actually has worked pretty well. The only big chunk of yardage they gave up was on the penalty. Just not a good way to see 15 yards go down. For all of you Viacom Cablevision Sports trivia fans, you may remember, I believe it was our third game we ever did 5 years ago, was Coach Perella's Bisons, and he was the last coach of the Latin Lions, trivia fans.
He has done a heck of a job turning this Beechwood program around. Carnaccione back to throw. He's got some time. He's got a man across the middle. That's Grambo. He's got it at the 15 to the 10 and down to the 6-yard line. It seemed like an eternity that Ted Grambo was standing in the middle of the field waving his arms. He finally got the ball, turned it up, and 1:34 to go. The chains are being moved. The clock has stopped, giving Kirtland a chance to regroup and get themselves back in gear as we watch it again. Watch the middle of your screen. Well, you may not be able to see it here, but Grambo's been standing there, and then boom, finally gets him the ball. 1.5 to go. Carnaccione back to throw. He's got a man. Perry Dakwar throws it out of bounds. Once again, Pruitt Petty on the coverage. 1:24 to go. The ball is on the 6-yard line, 2nd down and 6. And again, Bob, I think we ought to thank two people especially, and that is the two coaches from Kirtland who gave up their booth to sit outside, and it is very nasty outside, about 50 degrees. Also, our two statisticians this week, Samantha Gordon and Chris Novish, for their help with the stats, and we even had a spotter this week, John Middleton, helping us out in the booth here, picking out our tacklers this evening. We thank all those people. 1:24 to go. Carnaccione back to throw again. He throws, and it is incomplete as he was hit very hard. Number 51, Kevin Stoner, was the man who laid the pass to Carnaccione. 3rd down and 6 with 1:20 to go.
Just as he let that ball go, he got leveled. Now they've got 2 more cracks at it. They've only taken 6 seconds off the clock with those last couple of plays. Boy, a lot of excitement here, folks.
And at this point, a lot of shock.
Yeah. Definitely.
The Kirtland sideline, I believe even from the Beechwood sideline, I feel that they can't believe what has happened either. But from their standpoint, you got to love it.
May flood the zone to the left here. Yeah, that's where he's going to roll.
Rolling that way. This is a tough pass to make, and he fires it up in the end zone, and it is incomplete. Intended for Bruce Myers, I believe. Back on the coverage was Roland Silas, number 31, as well as that man again, Pruitt Petty, who seems to be in on a lot of the pass coverages for the Bisons.
All over the field. I heard his name a lot tonight, and this is it, folks. There's no tomorrow now. 4th and 6, 4th and goal. Well,
1:13 to go. 4th down and 6. This is the ball game, folks. And they're going to run a slant pattern, and it is incomplete, intended for Ted Grambo.
But it ain't over. There's still 1:09 on the clock. We have seen turnovers before. They're deep in their own territory.
Beechwood has the ball on their 6-yard line. Getting back to Coach Perella, Bob, from Beechwood, a few years ago, and now I can say this as we're 1:09 away, being a Kirtland alumni as I am, and I hope I haven't sounded too slanted tonight. I don't think I have. I hope I haven't.
Because of that small bore automatic I had on your side.
Back in the days when I was still going to school here, which in the early 80s that was. Yes, the early 80s, Bob. That makes you sick.
Not the early 20s like me.
You didn't even scout Beechwood because you just showed up and you just beat them. That was the way Perella came along, and that's not the way it is anymore, folks.
Jardine at quarterback falls on the ball.
Jardine just falls on it as clock continues to run. We'll see if Coach Feaster, and they are going to call a timeout to make them handle the ball a few more times. But getting back to our earlier comment, Coach Perella's come along and last year won a title, and that was unheard of. Basketball was the thing that Beechwood did well, but now you garner a lot of respect. And again, the thing that has killed them this year is just the lack of size. They have a very young team when you look around. They only have 3 seniors starting on the offense.
Yeah, as you said, completely turned the program around. And in that game I alluded to that we had 5 years ago. 5 years ago? That doesn't seem possible.
I was still in school.
Oh, shut up. It was against... you ain't getting out of this booth alive tonight, Deez. When I was talking to Coach Perella before the game, he alluded to the fact that it broke his heart. Here he was on TV. He was excited about that. But the team he was playing against that night was the Orange Lions. Of course, having coached the Latin Lions, and then the school closed down. It was a mixed emotion for him to be playing against a Lion team that night.
He also mentioned to me when I chatted with him yesterday the fact that they had never won on television before.
I wasn't going to mention that. I was aware of that.
We have the ball just being downed again, and I believe Kirtland has taken their final timeout.
Another timeout, Kirtland.
52 seconds to go here. And I, of course, told Coach Perella that it wasn't me because I wasn't here.
You know,
I pinned it all on you, Bob.
I was going to say, you know, whenever there's any question about something like that, you just dance right out of the way.
Well, that's the only way to go.
You're the first one to say, oh, it must have been Bob. I mean, had to be Bob.
So
it's not true. It could be Kerry. I mean, so what if he's in the truck, right?
That's true.
I think it
but
was
how
Kerry.
much damage can he do in there?
I don't know.
You're out in the public eye, Bob. As scary as that is.
Yeah, think about that. Think about that. Max Headroom, 1987 style. It's amazing what they let loose in public these days.
Well, everything was even at halftime pretty much statistically, and all of a sudden, Beechwood marched the ball down the field for a score, and then Kirtland came right back down and shoved it down their throat, and we thought that, hey, this offensive line of Kirtland has taken over, and this thing could be as good as over, but that was not the case, as Beechwood, showing a lot of heart and a lot of grit and a lot of desire, came back in two amazing scores. They fall on the ball yet again to make it 4th down and 11, and they will, I'm sure, let the 25-second clock run all the way down. They may even get the snap and run it out of the end zone.
Yeah,
I hope Sam Weish is watching.
Yeah. To see how that's done?
To see how it's done.
I think that may be exactly what they'll do, is take the safety. Because that's a very, very safe play. That would only make it 26-17. Kirtland would still need 2 scores, and you'd only have, what, 16, 18 seconds left on the clock.
As the clock is winding down, we're down to 16 and 15 and counting. So we see the linesman watching his watch.
9, 8.
And they stop the clock with 8 seconds to go. There goes the flag. It has flown. So as we had expected, they take the delay of game penalty.
And a timeout.
And I guess we can finally say that, yeah, this one is over, folks.
Well, it would take a bigger miracle than Lourdes to make it end up on the Kirtland side of the ledger. And from their standpoint, if you're a Hornet fan, you have to feel bad about that, especially being homecoming night. And it was really amazing. I do not recall offhand ever having seen a team on 2 consecutive plays from scrimmage fumble the ball. And to talk about making the most of it, good heavens, Beechwood converted both of those in very short order with 2 brilliant runs. There's no other word for them. Brilliant. There'll be a lot of things on the highlight tape from this game.
Sure.
We saw some incredible plays. The tip play for Kirtland's touchdown early on. Very interesting evening, except if you're a Hornet fan, the Bisons are going to go home very happy.
One thing about Anthony Jardine, the man of the hour for Beechwood, the man is only, and they kill the clock, or try to kill the clock in the end zone. Instead of running out of the end zone, they decided to try to get a few more seconds, and they paid very dearly. As we see,
hold up, guys, hold up.
As we see a little bit of fisticuffs, a little bit of frustration, as we see, thank God, only the coaches running onto the field, and that shows us a lot from the people on both sides to keep those kids off the field. Emotions are running high. As you see, the only bodies being tossed around are by coaches, grabbing people and throwing them to the side.
Now, again, it's easy to say, so please don't misunderstand this, folks. I'm sitting up here, or standing up here, and I have nothing to lose. There's only 4 seconds on the clock. If I were the officials, I'd call the game over, because they've had a couple of incidents here late. Obviously, the emotions are running high.
And somebody is down behind the end zone, and I don't know who it is. There is a mass confusion, and this is one of the ugly parts of ball. And you're talking about a bunch of kids, and we said this a couple weeks ago when we were at Brushing. The same kind of situation unfolded. And again, thank God that these coaches have enough sense and that they have enough guts and enough restraint to get things separated and get things straightened back out. And they are sending people off the field. As
yep,
we see.
that's going to be a good idea. I really applaud the referees for doing that.
Kirtland 17.
Nothing that's going to happen in the last 4 seconds is going to change the game, and emotions are running high, so call it over.
Not one bit would that have helped to keep this thing going on. And like you said, Bob, the officials should be credited with just getting this thing over with. And again, they're youngsters. There's your final score. The Beechwood Bisons beat the Kirtland Hornets 26-17. And will we be back to take a break, or are we going to hang on to it?
Well, we're going to hang here for a couple of seconds. There's a dangerous position on the field always when you're around with the
right. We have come to the close here. There's still 4 seconds on the clock. There's still a man down in the end zone, but this one is in the record books. Beechwood on top of Kirtland by a score of 26-17 as our closing credits start to roll. Turned out to be a nice night here, Bob. Didn't get any lower than 50 degrees.
Amazing.
No rain in sight.
Yeah,
there is the inside of the truck.
Hey. There they are. Those are the people that do all the work. He's even got his suspenders on. All right. There's Dave. What's Dave doing inside the truck? He's dangerous in there. Sorry about that. Yeah, smile. There you go. So some of these people don't know what to do when they're on the front end of the camera, you know? NASA? Okay. Free plug for our country. I love it. Yeah, there you go. There's Kerry.
Here come the credits.
Barking out directions and nobody following them. Kerry, wake them up down there. It's been a tough night, right, Kerry? I told Kerry it was going to be one of those nights, and it indeed has turned out to be that.
And here they come. The executive producer of Viacom High School Game of the Week is Kerry Polachek.
Dave Jensen produced this fun and games.
And Binky B. LaRue is your director.
Mark and Dave. Deanna. Mitch on audio. Good job, Mitch.
There's all those camera people who bring you the
yeah.
action every single week and do such a great job.
My goodness. Graphics I'm not going to touch. I know what that's all about. Rita, of course. Oh, hey, Bob B. Isabella and Crick. Please, we know that. Okay.
Oh, my goodness.
Get a little punchy about mid-season, folks.
Special thanks to our sponsors. Cleveland Mobile Radio at 749-1535.
Miguelito's Italian Express, 449-0776.
And Warehouse Beverage at 382-2400. This is Craig D. speaking for my partner Bob Isabella saying so long from Walter A. Rogers Memorial Field in Kirtland. The final score, the Beechwood Bison 26 and the Kirtland Hornets 15.